ladies and gentlemen. This right here is a Raspberry Pi, a tiny little computer with an exposed board that I can dunk into water. And it will continue to play the video on screen using an HDMI cable and receiving power via a USB cable. Despite being completely submerged, it still works. Watching this might feel unsettling because we have learned that water and electricity do not mix, whether in physics class or even from Pokemon. And yet, this submerged computer runs just fine. Engineers have become relatively inventive in designing waterproof technology. From nano coatings like the one used here to advanced glues and even oil-filled watches, water resistance technology is reaching science fiction levels. In this video, we will explore how different waterproofing techniques work, why various devices use different protections, and why you still might want to trust any of them, unless you absolutely must. Most electronics hate water for two main reasons. The first, conductivity and corrosion. You don't want random short circuits in your device. Surprisingly, water itself is not a great conductor. Pure H2 doesn't have free electrons, and I can prove this with a bottle of distilled water from Amazon. When I dunk an old phone with no waterproofing and open SIM tray into distilled water, it continues to function. That's because the water doesn't conduct electricity. However, real-world water contains impurities, salts, and minerals like magnesium or iron, which do conduct electricity. This can short specific components like a button or even kill your device if critical circuitry is affected. Corrosion is the second device, which creeps in over time. It showed how you just are in slightly salty water corrodes a phone's internal, even if you dry your device with rice. The damage may already be done. Days or months later, your phone may stop working after a minor drop because a corroded connection snaps. Consumers often don't realize this is water damage because the effects are delayed. Then there is a pressure, especially for gadgets like action cameras or dive computers. The deeper you go underwater, the more pressure the device experiences. At the surface, you are under 1 atmosphere of pressure. Every 10 meters, add another ATM. Deep underwater, that pressure can physically crush internal components. Let's look how devices handle water differently. Basic phones like old Lumia 950 do not have official waterproof rating, but still feature rubber seals around parts like the speaker and camera. However, these seals are not perfect and the phone doesn't claim water resistance. Next is something like Fairphone 5, a modular phone with a removable back, yet rated IP55. The 5 in IP55 means it can withstand water jets like rain, not submersion. There are no visible waterproofing parts here. Fairphone achieves it with nano coatings both inside and outside the phone. Nano coatings are also used in devices like Raspberry Pi, shown at the start, and the Galaxy Buds 3, which maintain an IP57 rating while allowing for better repairability due to heavy glue. The nano coating process, like HZOs, involves placement components in a vacuum chamber, heating a material called Parylene into a vapor, then condensing onto the components. This chemical vapor deposition creates a uniform micron-thick layer that's non-conductive and inert, perfect to shield components from corrosion or shocks. Connectors, which might stay conductive, are masked during the process. While there is a glue used around connectors for the demo, the rest is sealed. Through acrylic or silicone coatings exist, they are thick and can interfere with the heat dissipation or wireless signals. Thin coatings are better. Nano coatings is not too much expensive either, just a few dollars per device, but manufacturers still prefer to seal the device from outside using glue and silicone. For example, Samsung foldables are waterproof using glue and silicone stripes around hinges along with lubricants. This inner sealing method is cheap and effective for mass production and also clogged us two benefits in one. Though I thought manufacturers would combine glue as the first layer with nano coatings as backup. Glue has mostly worn out. However, water resistance ratings not only apply when your device is new. Over time, the adhesives weaken, coatings get scratched or drops cause cracks, so water resistance fades. Most manufacturers do not cover water damage under warranty, even with IP-rated devices, so trust water resistance only when absolute necessary. Now, action cameras bring more complexity. They are built to withstand up to 10 meters of depth and even more aggressive water conditions like waves, saltwater, and chlorine. Ports on such cameras are fully sealed with thick silicone, gaskets, and strong latches. On my dive camera, you can see some metal rust, meaning water reached the gasket but went no further. That's the idea. The inside of these devices is filled with glue and more gaskets, especially around tricky parts like microphones and speakers, which must remain open to function. Companies like Insta360 solve this with a breathable waterproof membrane similar to Corrosion. These membranes allow air to pass through a land but block water underwater. However, they work only to around 10 meters. Beyond that, pressure can break the membranes or jam buttons. Dive computers used for recreational dives are completely sealed with no ports or microphones. Batteries are accessed through screws capped with silicone gaskets and lubrication. The battery area is separated from the rest of the device, so if water gets in, it won't destroy the entire computer. Screws are also sealed with multiple gaskets for extra protection. Finally, we have deep sea watches like those from Rolex that can survive the Mariana Trench over 11,000 meters deep. These watches are extremely rugged. The original Rolex Deep Sea Challenge from 1960 was nearly a sphere. German brand Sing created a clever alternative. Fill the entire case with the oil. Oil is much less compressible than air, reducing risk of implosion and allowing a slimmer design. Some Rolex watches also feature a helium escape valve for saturation divers who live in pressurized underwater habits for weeks. Helium atoms, which are small, seep into watch. As the diver ascends, the helium expands and could pop the crystal off. The valve slowly releases gas to prevent that. Fun fact, the Rolex Deep Sea is rated to 3,900 meters, just a little deeper than the Titanic wreck at 3,800 meters. It is essentially designed to go where the ill-fated Titan submerged failed. You can buy this watch if you have $20,000 to $60,000 to spare. The fascination with the Titanic has inspired an entire industry of exploration and artifact recovery. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you in the next